right, B. You got a apocrypha too?
Huh?
You got a apocrypha?
Yeah, it's all on my phone.
Huh?
Yeah, it's in my phone. I got you.
Okay.
Tajay. Send me his nomination. All right.
Yeah, grab your microphone right there. Okay, that's the one. Okay, cool. Get some incense going up in here, right? Wow. Hot rocks. Yeah, Bill, you done? Oh, yeah. Get some flames going up in here. That's what's up. Oh, oh. Make it happen. Shalom Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Let's get some real flame on. Smoke. That's what's up. Tonight is Brotherhood class, and we all need Brotherhood. Brotherhood is the only way we can survive. One thing we lack nowadays that we need more than ever, seeing that this country is going into turmoil, that third woe is coming upon us. We need brotherhood right now. A lot of us depend on this oppressor, depends on our oppressor. And in the time of calamity, a lot of us like to look to our oppressor for guidance, which is the wrong thing. The Most High told us not to look to our oppressor for anything. We ought to look to our own people. But for some strange reason, not even for some strange reason, because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, it's the reason why we look to our oppressor for everything that we need, including guidance in the time of calamity. The Most High tells us not to follow your oppressor, not to follow the way of the heathen, not to come into their customs and culture. He tells us to depart from them. He tells us to leave them alone. He tells us to come up out of them. But for some strange reason, which we know is because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, we look toward our oppressor. Tonight we just gonna go into a couple of we just gonna go into a couple of scriptures, just on how we are to deal with our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to go into a couple of scriptures that's going to give us a good compass or moral compass on, sticking with our own, following our own, looking to our own people. We are destroyed people because we look toward our oppressor. We look toward people from other nations. You feel what I'm saying, Dr. Zoe?
Right.
We look toward other people and trying to figure out what we should do in the time of calamity. Man, this world is going to hell in a handbag. And when I say this world, I'm talking about our oppressor's world. When the oppressor's world falls, our world rises.
Right.
And a lot of people can't fathom us being on top, but the Most High has planned it that way. Everything that's going on in our oppressor's world right now is just the way the Most High planned it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's think about some of the things that the oppressor says to us as a nation that lures us to sleep and into their customs and culture. I know a couple of weeks ago we discussed emancipation, right? To be emancipated. When they gave us the Emancipation Proclamation was signed when? In 1863. It was around 1866, 1867 that everybody in the North or in the South was emancipated or found out about the emancipation. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
The South, the North only put together the Emancipation Proclamation to cripple the South. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't to free slaves, but it was to cripple the South in what basically was a riches war. You understand what I'm saying? Who was the richest? Because the North originally started off as the richest, and because of slavery, the South began to become richer because, for the most part, all of the tobacco, all of the cotton, all of the sugar cane, all of this stuff was in the South. And the South had slaves to do all of this work for them. In the North, they were about what? Basically
Factory work.
Yeah, factory work and economics and stuff like that. They had slaves in the North, but they didn't use their slaves. They didn't utilize their slaves like they did in the South. You understand what I'm saying? And because they didn't, the South became richer than the North. So it wasn't about freeing slaves. It was about economics. You understand what I'm saying? So let's go into some of these scriptures and talk about some things that our oppressor uses against us, the things that they do to us, the things that they use to keep us enslaved. All right? If we can, Bob Kushah, can we get Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20?
Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Colin,
Let me know when you get there.
so Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20.
Hold up. You know what? let's go. Let's hold that right. No, don't hold that because we're gonna come back to that. Let's go to Psalms 55 and 21 first. Let's start there. We're gonna come back to that. Let's go to Psalms 55 and 21. I want to start off right there. Something that can that we can flow right into this with.
You got it?
Come.
Psalms.
As a matter of fact, let's start off at the 20th verse.
Okay. Psalms chapter 55, verse 20. He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Read that again for me.
He had put forth his hands against.
What does that mean? He has put forth his hand.
He has stretched out his hand. Yes. Put hands.
Put hands.
Right.
He has put forth.
Right. Can you read?
No, read that again.
He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
What does that mean by he has put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him? You got that?
Right.
See, when it says he has put forth such as hand, what did he do to the Native American Indians? He slaughtered them, right?
Right.
He slaughtered them, and and at the time he slaughtered them, he was supposed to be at peace with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he put forth his hand. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
He put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He put forth his hand. He started war with a people that he was supposed to be at peace with. You understand what I'm saying? That's a character trait of our oppressor.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Our oppressor, he lulls us to sleep and makes us think he is at peace with us. But then he puts forth his hand. He starts war with us.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Think about it, right? He says one thing and does something else. That's basically what it's saying. You're supposed to be at peace with these people, but you put forth your hand against them. As such, they be at peace with you, right?
Right.
Read on.
He hath broken his covenant.
See that part right there? He has broken his covenant. The covenant was a peace covenant, right? But he put forth his hand. When he put forth his hand, that means he made war.
Right.
He made war. It was supposed to be peace. What's the opposite of peace? It's war.
Right.
And he put forth his hand. He started war with the people that he lulled to sleep by saying, we're gonna be at peace. How many peace treaties did he have with them? Over 177? Over 177 peace treaties he broke with the Native Indians. You understand?
Ain't keep one of them.
Right, ain't keep one of them. And think about this too, right? When we was growing up in school, we was always taught that Indians were savages.
Right.
You had savage Indians, and then you had peaceful Indians, or you had broken Indians. That's what I'm gonna say, broken Indians. Why were they broken Indians? Because they gave in. You understand?
Right.
The savages were the ones that they so-called savages were which Indians? The Indians that recognized that they broke their peace order. And instead of trying to talk it out, they decided when you start war with me, we gonna finish the war with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So they called them savages. Only the reason why they called them savages because they fought back. You understand?
Right.
They weren't really savages. Who was the savage?
It's the white man.
An oppressor. He was a savage. What you got?
You know, when you're in school, learning about the Indians, every time they went, when the North American Indians won, they call it the Great Slaughter.
Great slaughter.
And when the Americans won, they call it the what they call it? The Great Victory or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, what they do is and you know what's crazy though, right? Think about this. Even in school, they never highlighted the wins of the Indians.
No.
But if they did make mention of a victory of an Indian, they always ended the story with them being overcome or overrun by the Americans.
Like the Alamo.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Just like the Alamo. You understand? At the end of the day, the cavalry came in and destroyed those Indians. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
After, what was his name? Davy Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And I mean, that's just the nature of our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? The nature of our oppressor is to deceive you, to make you think one thing when he's doing something else. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just all his nature. What did the Native American Indians say about it? White man speak with full tongue.
Right.
You understand? He says one thing but does something else. He says one thing but means something else. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This is the reason why we are not to trust in the Most High tells us not to trust not thine enemy. You understand? That's Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he tells us not to trust your enemy. Who is your enemy? Who is our enemy? That's
Of the other nations. Well,
our
oppressor.
enemy.
Our oppressor.
Our oppressor. You know what I mean? Go ahead, finish that.
Slide.
Psalm 55 and 20. We should be at 21 now.
21. Come. Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
You hear that? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. This is the crazy thing about our oppressor. This is about they about to come up on a time of year where we got a few more months for that for that time where they go out and start voting. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So now what happens is everybody that hates you start to talk good stuff about you. Start to talk about everything that they want to do for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They start to talk about everything that they want to do for your community, how they want to build you up, how they want to make you a better people. You understand?
Right.
But in the end, you know, we've been voting since what, 1965? We've had the right to vote since 1965, right? And since 1965, what has changed since 1965 until now?
No.
In our communities, what has changed from 1965
up till now?
to this point?
Not too much.
Not a goddamn thing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We still living in the same poverty-stricken ghettos.
Right.
You understand? We still living in the same rat-infested neighborhoods. We still eating the same poison food that they send into urban neighborhoods. Nothing has changed. You understand? Think about this. His words were smoother than butter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they did. They started the Maryland State Lottery started in about 1973, and I'm giving around about time.
Right.
You understand? And the first premise when they started the Maryland State Lottery was that it was going to help make the city schools better. It was going to help to, you know, get new books.
Right.
You know, get all new equipment, you know, make, you know, air conditions, heating systems, all of that type of stuff.
Right.
The whole premise was made on city schools.
Right.
But look at our city schools today.
Uh-huh.
Nothing has changed. As a matter of fact, they're shutting down a whole lot of city schools. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They're shutting down a whole lot of city schools. Hey, is your phone on vibrate? Put your phone on.
Car.
Make sure your phone on.
Yes.
Yeah. But the whole premise of that, you know, starting that Maryland State Lottery was to help the city schools. Same thing with the Lotto, the same thing with the Mega Millions, and every time they come up with something new, the whole premise is to do this. And think about this, right? I think within the last 2 years, that Lotto, that Mega Millions, that hit like $1 billion twice, right?
Yeah, it's up there. Well,
what has it done? Somebody hit. We know that, right? But what has it done? His words are smoother than butter. Go ahead, read.
55. His words were smooth. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
But war was in his heart. You know what they say about our city schools today, right? City schools is just what?
Say it again.
That's what do they say about our city schools?
Not enough.
It's just taking us from. It's just a transition from schools to the jails.
Oh, yeah.
Think about what they're teaching us. They not even think about this, right? When I was growing up in school, we had home economics, we had print shop, we had machining class, we had
wood shop.
We had all of these things that prepared you for when you graduated to get out there and be productive in your community.
Right.
All of those things basically in most of the city schools have been taken out. And if you're not zoned for this particular school, you can't go to that school.
Right.
So now, then on top of them doing that, they made everything that they did now is you have to be what do they call it? Licensed. You have to be certified in in certain fields, right? You got to be certified in certain fields to get into like auto shop or, coming out of school into an auto shop, right? Most of the young dudes did that coming out of school, right?
Right.
So when they take that out of school, and if they keep them in the white schools, what happens? Coming out of school, what happens? All of the white kids get the jobs coming out of school.
Right.
And once the black kids come out of school, then they got to go back to school to learn those trades, right? By the time they finish learning that trade, all of the jobs have already been filled. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So then what happens is they get left out because they late and $1 short. You understand what I'm saying? Then you got to have all kinds of certifications where if you took these classes in school, you get certified before you come out of school. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. He is setting us up for destruction. You understand what I'm saying? Coming out of school, you have nothing. For the most part, right? You have nothing. And then you have to grind. They already, think about it, right? They already own everything, right? They already own everything. They force you to go to their schools. They take all of the curriculums out of your schools, leave them in their schools, and then they take something else from you. You're already in a hole. Now the hole gets deeper. And what happens after that? They throw all the drugs and the violence and the guns and everything into your neighborhood. So when you come out and you can't get a job, what's the first thing you do? You pick up drugs or you pick up a gun. You feel me?
Right.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. You understand? This is a planned cycle. You understand?
Right.
They're trying to destroy us off the bat. And a lot of our people like to do what? We like to depend on this oppressor, this same oppressor that has it in his mind to destroy you, to crush you into dust. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
His whole premise is to crush you to the point where you can't do anything but abide by him. Understand what I'm saying? Did you see that? Did you see the dude on the news that just got out? They said he got locked up for a murder. He did almost, what was that?
Oh, and they got new DNA showed that
32 years or something like that.
He was innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, right? He's 50 something years old now, right?
Right.
He got locked up at 17, if I'm not mistaken. He like 52, 53, right? So now think about this. What did they take from him?
His life.
They took his life from him, but think about this, right? What else did they take? I mean, think about this.
Take his kids.
No, listen. He didn't have any kids.
No, I'm just saying he could have made kids.
There you go. That's where I was getting at.
Right.
You understand? They took the ability from him to make kids. Think about what they're doing now to the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
They're locking them up and they're giving them 30 and 40 years. So even if they live through the jail system time, right? By the time they get out, he ain't making no kids.
I mean, he could still probably make kids.
He could probably still make kids, right? But think about this, right?
He ain't gonna have nobody young enough to carry.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at,
Right.
right? How many females at a young age like that that's still in the twilight of making kids takes on a dude coming home after 30-something years, 50-something years old. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So look at the numbers that they're hitting us with. You understand?
Right.
It's a cycle. So by the time they come out, they're not making any more warriors or princesses. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That time of their life is over. My best friend, Aunt Mo, right? His brother got locked up. We was 16 when he got locked up, right? He just got out. He just got out 2 years ago. You feel me? He got no kids. And the whole thing is he ain't got no kids and he ain't looking to have none. When I was young, I remember when he used to talk about that. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So think about, look how you get destroyed.
Right.
And look at, they got 2 million brothers in jail, right? Over 2 million brothers in jail. Think about how many are not guilty, right? Whose lives they destroyed. Think about how many may be guilty but should have had a year or two that they gave 20 and 30 years to. The whole point of a jail system is to destroy you. It's never to build you up or to make you a productive citizen. When they hit you with 30 years, that's not to make you a productive citizen. The dude in New York, I believe he stole $8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he got 32 years. Stole $8 from out of a store.
Right.
And got 32 years. How's that to make you? If a dude steals $8, what is he trying to do?
Eat.
Feed his family. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So then they destroy you off of any little thing. And think about this, right? Amber Geiger killed her brother in cold blood.
Right.
He got 5 years. They said 10, right? But we know she only get 5, and with good behavior, she'd be home in 3. And then she's not gonna be with population.
No.
She's not gonna be with the population that she should be with. You understand what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So a dude steals $8, he gets 32 years. She did cold blood murder. That's 1st-degree murder, and she got 3 years.
She might not even do that.
Yeah, she might not do that. After the judge hugged her, the brother hugged her, the bailiff rubbed her hair, she might not even do that. She might do a year and a half.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah, she get a good enough lawyer, you might could.
Exactly.
Overturn
They
something.
might go back and appeal that.
Appeal that, yeah. It's possible.
I mean, Judge, look, the judge came down and hugged her, gave her a Bible.
Right, gave her a Bible.
The brother hugged her,
Mm-hmm.
he forgave her. You know, the bailiff brushed her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
You can make this, we can do better than this.
Mm-hmm.
The family forgave her. Come on, let's let this woman go. You know what I'm saying?
Put it back on the police force.
Come on now.
Right.
She's gonna be a police in another county somewhere or a security guard somewhere.
Yeah.
You feel me? Think about it. Where we at? Go ahead, finish that.
Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
His words were softer than oil. I mean, listen, they can lull you to sleep. Think about it. The Emancipation Proclamation, slaves really thought they was free.
Yeah.
Emancipate is only moving you from what? From private property to state property.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what that say? His words were softer than oil. We're going to emancipate y'all. We're going to emancipate y'all. Oh man, we're going to be free. We're going to be out of this. We're going to be out of this jam we in. You understand what I'm saying? But then it said, yet were they drawn swords. They connected the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. They said, vagrancy. If you were free unless you committed a crime, and then they made vagrancy a crime. They made dropping a piece of paper on the ground a crime. They made 3 or more gathered together a crime. You understand what I'm saying? They made, if they walked up to you and you didn't have ID, that was a crime. If you didn't have $1 in your pocket, that was a crime.
If you was laughing at a white person.
You're laughing at a white person, that was a crime.
You had a laughing barrels for it?
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, yet were they drawn swords? Listen, we can't get along with these people at all. It's no way possible. We need to just separate from them. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It says that his words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. This is your enemy. The Bible tells us not to trust our enemy. You understand what I'm saying? Give me 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore come out of her. Wherefore come out from among them.
It says, wherefore come out from among them. What does that mean? Wherefore come out from among them. What does that mean?
That means come out from among
Hey, grab that microphone. Oh, you got the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was talking.
Oh,
that means come out from among the customs of the other nations. Come out from among,
What's some of them customs?
Come out from among them. Come out from eating pork. Come out from among, worshiping their God. Come out from among, trying to be like them.
Let's say stop selling those drugs. Think about it, right?
Right.
Where we just came from, that jail, that prison system, right?
Right.
Stop selling those drugs.
Right.
Come out from among them. You understand what I'm saying? Stop selling their drugs. Stop smoking cigarettes. Just like you said before, stop eating that pork. got you having that heart disease, clogging your arteries,
Right.
making you have heart attacks. You understand? Stop having those abortions. Our women need to stop having those abortions. We having over 400,000 abortions a year.
That's crazy.
Over 400,000 abortions a year.
That's genocide.
That's self-destruction.
Right. When that song came out, we already there.
Right.
Till we hit it. We passed it.
You know, we got to come out from them customs and cultures of theirs. We got to stop eating that shrimp, crab, and lobster. We got to stop marrying into them. Mm-hmm. Our brothers got to stop marrying these heathens. Our sisters got to stop marrying these heathens. You know, did you hear that? You know Lonnie Love?
Lonnie Command General.
Did you see that broad?
Yeah.
Did you see the dude she was with, the white boy?
I seen her. It was funny that they brought that up because I seen her a year ago when they was talking about, yeah, she met this guy. She didn't want to talk about it. It was a white dude.
White dude.
Yeah. You know, but how she bashed our brothers, you know what I'm saying?
But look how destroyed she is. Look at her hair. She's so ashamed of herself. She wearing fake hair.
Right.
You talking about the black man, and you ashamed of yourself.
Right. Let them see you without that wig on your head.
That's the destruction of our women.
Right.
You understand? And then the women that sit and egg it on are no better.
Right. Our
women are destroyed. But then think about this. Our men are destroyed too. Because our men don't confront them. With all this weed, think about it. You got the most beautiful hair in the world. The Most High created that hair for a reason, right? Then you want to glue it and cover it and tear it apart. Fake eyelashes, that look like an Egyptian thing to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then not to mention the fake butts and, the pumping the stuff in their butts, their breasts, and pumping their lips all up. Our women are already the most beautiful women on the planet. Then they bleaching their skin. Everybody gotta have blonde hair.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? All you women out there that's bleaching your skin and got blonde hair, if black men wanted a blonde hair, a bleached skin, blonde hair woman, we just marry white women, right?
Some of them look ridiculous.
Ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world when you got the most beautiful skin in the world. Bleached skin is a deficiency. You understand what I'm saying? White skin is a deficiency.
Give me a woman with a blowout.
I don't even think that broad Lonnie Love, I don't even think she proud of her black skin. You understand what I'm saying?
I can tell she got alopecia, something.
She can't be proud of her skin. You can't be proud. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Where we at? Go ahead, read. 17, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17.
God. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate.
And be ye separate. The Most High says what? Be ye separate. Separate yourself from them. When it says separate yourself from them, that don't mean you got to move to a whole new country or something like that, right?
Right.
But you got to separate yourself from the heathen. Think about this, right? The East Indian, the Arab, the Chinese, and the Korean, they take your money all day long, but they separate themselves from you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They separate themselves from you. This is what the Most High says. He's telling you, you can do business, you can make money, but you separate yourself from them.
Right.
Stop trying to be them. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
These people, think about how can a Korean be a person who doesn't do their hair, but telling you and selling you all the hair care products in the world? You understand what I'm saying? How can somebody who doesn't do their hair sell you hair? Not to mention, if you already got the best hair in the world, why would you want to buy hair from a person who doesn't do their hair? What sense does that make?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are destroyed people. And we are destroyed people because we can't pull away from our oppressor. And because we can't pull away from our oppressor, the more and more we are around our oppressor, we want to be our oppressor. So instead of building with our own people, we want to let the oppressor build off of us. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
The economy, 70% of the economy is built on an African American dollar. 70% of the economy is built on the African American dollar. We ain't talking about the Hispanic and Native Indian. We just talking about the African American dollar.
Right.
That's $1.4 trillion a year. And I say trillion with a T.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So just imagine if we put those dollars back into our own communities. We built our own schools. We built our own malls. We built our own supermarkets. We had our own farms to provide food for our own markets. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We're building our own army. We're building the army right now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? What you got?
No, that's super heavy what you're talking about because that's super heavy what you're talking about because just last night on the grill, Commander General Ghana, they were just talking about how many black people went back to Ghana.
Oh,
and that 1 year
right.
they made billions of dollars. In that 1 year, boost their economy up from the black dollar, you know what I'm saying? The Israelite dollar.
I'm glad you touched on that, right? Because I saw that too, right? But think about this. I'm glad you said that. Think about the money they put into Ghana, right?
Mm.
What if they would have put that money into us here?
Mm. Mm.
And you know what the worst thing about it is? They go all the way around the world to put money into a country of people that don't love them.
And if I may, not only that, it's dusty, it's dirty. Look, they got to get their own septic tanks and good night. Just to be around doo-doo.
Listen, check this out, right?
They fuel off of doo-doo.
Listen. Ghana was some of the people that put us into slavery and sold us to our oppressor.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They were one of the people who had a hand in selling us to our oppressor. I saw a little video clip of a Ghanese woman, and she was talking about, we don't need you Americans over here. Just give us your money.
Right.
We don't need from you but your money. That's it. We are not the same people. This chick came out and said, we are not the same people. We don't need anything from you but your money. And these fools go right over there and give them their money. Mm-hmm. Right? All of the millions of dollars that you putting into Ghana, and none of these niggas put no money into us over here.
Good night. And if I may, Oprah should be ashamed. You know, she put so much money in the look. She's from Chicago. She haven't put one red dime into Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Because every one of those people that do that hate their people,
Right.
hate their own people. You want to be a part of some people that don't even love you, that hate you. The people hate us. Why would I want to do anything for people that hate? Think about this though, right? Ludicrous. What neighborhood did you grow up in? Your neighborhood look like?
Right.
Right? What does your neighborhood look like? Your neighborhood, his neighborhood got to be fixed up.
Right.
He got to have taken care of his people for him to go to Ghana and give away millions. You got to be sick in your ass.
Right.
Ain't no way in the world.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure everybody in my neighborhood is taken care of and everybody where I live is taken care of.
Right.
Before I go outside of anywhere.
Right.
And if I go outside of anywhere, I'm gonna make sure it's my people I'm taking care of in them other countries. I'm not taking care of other countries. The fan, you think Ghana gonna let them come over there and be a hub over there? Think about it. Let's just say they go broke the day of tomorrow. You think Ghana gonna let them come in? Hell no. All they need is their money. That's it. They only want the money. What you great say?
I was ready to be here. I was ready to say, yeah, they let them come over and
now that they broke.
No, I was ready to say, they put them in a pot.
Yeah, or put them in slavery again.
Put them in slavery or put them
in slavery again. Yeah.
Negro stew.
Exactly. They gonna eat your ass. Go ahead, finish that up for me.
Thanks, my screen keep going blank. I'm gonna start from 17. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing.
It says, touch not the unclean thing. What is the unclean thing?
That's just a whole variety of things.
Variety of things. You got that.
I mean, you got the we were just talking about that blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
That blonde hair is unclean.
Touch not the unclean thing. Think about it, right? Touch not the unclean thing. What is the unclean thing? Our daughters marrying their sons. Our sons marrying their daughters. That's the unclean thing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's the thing that really, that's one of the most major things that bind us.
Right.
That's a snare to our people, is that interracial marriage. Because once you tie that in, think about it, right? In some cases, you have people that can come out and say, no, I'm not with that. Boom. That may be my mother or father, or my mother,
right,
but I can get away from that. But for the most part, if you ask a person that has a white mother and a black father, who would they deal with, right? Who would they deal with? If a war came, who would they say they would deal with? They couldn't make a decision. And because they couldn't make a decision, us out the plane. When it comes to interracial marriage destroys us. Because when it comes down to it, nobody backs the black man, woman, and child. They will back our oppressor. Our oppressor will always be back. They will never back us. You understand? They would never back us. You understand what I'm saying? Interracial marriage is one of the main linchpins that destroy our people. Our people get destroyed behind interracial marriage. And this is the reason why Most High said separate. Be ye separate.
Right.
Right? Be ye separate. Don't marry into them, because if you marry into them, you will leave me and you will worship their gods. Paraphrasing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the problem with us. We want to worship everybody's God but our own. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We want to follow everybody else but our own. We don't want to have any kind of faith in our God. You understand? That's what interracial marriage does to us. It makes you lose your faith in the Most High.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It makes you lose your faith in the Most High. Let's pull up Numbers 14:2.
Numbers. Chapter. You ready?
Hold up, wait a minute. My bad. Deuteronomy 4:5. My bad.
Sure.
Deuteronomy
chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether ye go to possess it.
It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. What is statutes and judgments?
The law.
And what else?
The law.
That's the statutes.
And the commandments.
Judgments. Listen to it.
The law and the punishment of the law.
There you go. You said it. It's the law and the punishment for breaking the law. Right. Statutes and the judgments. You feel me? He gave us statutes and judgments. He gave us the law and the punishment for breaking the law. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Even as the Lord my God commanded me that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. No matter where you go, you hold to these statutes and these judgments. You understand? Right. And regardless of where you at, in any land, you will possess it. All you have to do is follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. Right. All you have to do is follow these laws and these judgments, these statutes and judgments. And think about it. If we stop spending money with those Koreans and those Chinese,
couldn't
each one of those stores shut down. Every time a store shut down, we put our money together and we purchase that store. We purchase that store, we put our people in that store. Every time one shut down, we buy and we put our own people in there. Now we spending money with our own people. Now our money starts to circulate in our community.
Right.
Now you got the corner stores, right? So now when you start buying from the corner stores, all of a sudden that oppressive supermarket shut down. So now we put more money together and we purchase that supermarket. Now you got a supermarket along with the corner stores. Now you building a community. You understand what I'm saying? Whether you go to possess it. You understand what I'm saying? Right. This is how you possess the land that you in. You possess the land that you in by being amongst your own, separating yourself from amongst the heathen. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Saying right there. Read that again.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether ye go to possess it.
Keep going.
Keep therefore and do them.
Keep therefore and do them. Keep therefore and do them. These laws, statutes, and commandments. Follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sights of the nation. Look, when these other nations look at you, they're going to understand that you are wise and discerning people.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Oh, yeah. That's it right there. These are wise and understanding people. Listen, when they see you following the law, statutes, and commandments, they don't have to know the law, statutes, and commandments to understand that you are wise and discerning people.
Mm-hmm.
When they see by how we live, when they see by how we stick together, just like we say, all those East Indians stick together.
Right.
They ain't wise, but they wise enough to know to stick together. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They destroy themselves in their own land. They have a caste system in their own land. The lighter the skin, the higher you are on the totem pole.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They have a caste system. But when they come here, they know that they stick together.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They know that the way to be on top is to stick together. And they show that. Same with the Chinese. Same with the Korean. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead. Deuteronomy 4 and 6.
Oh, down 4 and 6. Salaki. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes. Surely this is a great nation, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Go ahead.
For what nation is there so great? Who have God so not?
What? You can drop that. Drop that. That was it right there. That was it right there. But just like you said, right? When we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, what happens? The other nations will recognize us as a wise and understanding people. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But not only that, it will cause those other nations to serve us. Because they will recognize that if they serve us, then they will be in good grace too. You understand?
Right.
Let's drop that and go to what was that first one I said?
Isaiah.
No, let's go back to Numbers 14 and 2.
Got that?
Come.
Numbers chapter 14, verse 2. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in this wilderness? In this wilderness, like.
He says what? Would God have us die in Egypt or in the wilderness? They murmuring, right? They have lost trust in Moses. Where God want us to die, in Egypt or in the wilderness? Go ahead, read.
And wherefore has the Lord brought us unto this land, to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey.
That our wives and children should be a prey. Go ahead.
Where it is not better for us to return to Egypt?
Would it be not better for us to return to Egypt? Think about that. We complain. We murmur. We complain about everything that doesn't go our way. Mm-hmm. You understand? This is a trait that's been in us since back in the Egyptian captivity.
Right.
You get out of captivity, right? You get from under the foot of the Egyptians, and you still complaining. You understand? It's just like us right now, right? We got a way out. We got a way to make us a better people, but people still want to complain. Our people complain.
We got to be a better people because it's a lot here. But if we see a ocean part and for us to get the hell out of where we got to go, look, hey, look, check this out. I ain't saying nothing against nothing. They must have been super stiff necked back then. Just for a Red Sea to part. Look,
But think about this, right?
good night.
Negroes complain about everything. Have you ever seen somebody think about it, right? And I'm gonna go a little bit to the left hand side. When somebody about when you bought something hot on the street, right? You know you got it for a quarter of what it's worth, right? But then you still want to complain, man, ain't no bag come with it.
Yeah.
Come on now. You understand what I'm saying? I can't get, oh, it ain't no antenna with it. You can go buy an antenna.
Right.
You get a TV, think about it. You get a 50-inch for $100 and then you complain about an antenna. Right. Or you complain about an HDMI cord.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? This is how we are.
That's free. That's free.
You understand what I'm saying? But think about this though. If our oppressor sells it to us like that, we ain't gonna complain at all.
Nah. They only have to have a power cord.
See, when we under the direction of our own people, we tend to complain a lot. But when we go to work, no matter what our oppressor do to us, we do not complain. We come home, we scream at our wives, our children, but we get to work and we smile all in our oppressor face.
Yes.
Our oppressor stirs up the evil in us, but has us fearing them. So then that fear builds up so much that we take that home to our family and take it out on our family. The children of Israel complained to Moses and Aaron. They murmured, whining. You understand what I'm saying? Just like you said, after seeing all those miracles, after coming up out of hell, and you still gonna complain. And then not only that, you will say maybe it might have been better for us to go back to Egypt, go back up under our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
How terrible is that? How broken is that? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We are broken people when you can complain like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we destroyed. Think about it. Go ahead, finish that.
Verse 4.
There we go.
And they said one to another, let us make a captain and let us return to Egypt.
Think about that, right? Let us get another leader and let's go back to our oppressor.
Damn.
Let's go back. Let's take ourselves back into slavery.
They said a captain, though.
Yeah. Let us make a leader.
That just showed that the UPK don't have bishops or nothing.
So we got captains.
We got captains and
got
officers and
generals, captains, officers, troopers.
Fake Israelites need to catch up.
They got bishops and stuff.
Right.
You know? But think about it. How broken can you be to want to go back into slavery? But let's go back, right? Even in 1865, when the slaves were freed, right? Or so-called freed, emancipated. When they released them, right? What did they count on? When you get released from jail, what do they give you before you leave jail?
They give you college, sir.
I
mean, what?
Think about it. No, they don't give you nothing. They let you go. Know why most of the time they let you go? Because they know you coming back. Just like in 1865, when they released those slaves, they released those slaves on the notion that they knew that a lot of them was going to come back. And what did those slaves become? They became the sharecroppers.
Right.
You understand? And they got used too. Most of them got used. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how we do. You got no idea of nothing, so you go back to your oppressor. To little to nothing to your oppressor. It's the same thing they do to our Hispanic brothers today. A job paying $20 an hour, what do they pay? They pay out Hispanic brothers $7 or $8. You understand what I'm saying? Making out like a fat rat. I was working out Jessup at a part-time. My man was a supervisor, right? So he had me out there cleaning as a part-time. And I remember one day I had came in and they had told all the Hispanic brothers that immigration was coming in the next morning. And none of them showed up. You feel me?
Right.
Everything in the whole warehouse shut down. They was making that Sunbelt fruit, like those fruit cups and with the mixed fruits and stuff like that. And they had vegetables and stuff like that. They was doing that at night.
Immigration came in there.
Yeah, immigration came in.
And the soul showed up.
Nobody showed up. You understand what I'm saying? I had brothers that was there, couldn't speak a lick of English, but they was teaching me the Spanish. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But that's how they do our people.
Right.
Charging them next to nothing. So then they using them. So what they do is they tell them when immigration coming in. But think about this though, right? Why would immigration tell them that they coming? So they can do their rounds. They can get their money. Hispanics can go hide somewhere for a day. They can come back and everybody can still get paid. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like with Donald Trump, all that talk he do about Mexicans, he got all those Mexicans working for him. Mm-hmm. So what he had to do? Start running for president. I got to fire everybody. But this what I want y'all to hide around the corner for a minute. So once this thing blow over, then y'all gonna come back and I'm gonna pay y'all the same thing I was paying y'all.
Just think, who is still cleaning his hotel rooms?
Yeah.
It ain't no white people.
He
don't got an all-white staff.
And black people ain't working for no $7-8 an hour.
Hell no.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's a guarantee.
But this is how they use us.
Right.
Right? So then what happens, right? Us as so-called African Americans, we look at our Hispanic brothers and we say, what? Man, they taking all the jobs. They taking all the jobs. They jobs we don't even want. You understand? It's not that. It's the perception.
Right.
The white man's words are smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. This is how he keep us at each other.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This is how he keep us at each other. So we're not looking at the man, our oppressor, as being diabolical. What it says about the serpent, he was the more subtle beast of the field.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? He was the sneakiest. When it says subtle, he is the most sneakiest, the most cunning. You understand? Think about it, right? He had to be cunning to put the Arabs in a box, to put the Chinese in a box, to put the Koreans in a box. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He had to be cunning. He had to be subtle. He had to be that to be able to run the United Nations. Think about this, right? All these other nations bring up these other nations on war crimes against their citizens, right? Why has nobody brought the United States up on war crimes against this so-called Negro in America? Think about it. How can America sit and tell Hitler what he's doing wrong to his people? He could turn around and bring the Germans up on charges in the United Nations, right? But nobody for over 400 years did that to the United States. How is that? He's the most subtle beast of the field. He's cunning. He ties everybody up and put them in a box. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This is what our oppressor does. This is what makes him who he is. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we want to put our trust in an oppressor like him. We always think he gonna come around. He eventually gonna come around. He gonna love us. You understand? Ain't that what we say?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we push enough love on them, they gonna love us back. You understand what I'm saying? Give me Job 9:24.
Job, chapter 9, verse 24.
Not that one. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking of. I pulled the wrong one.
I mean, that's
Not that one. Hold on.
a good one, but you probably want to get something else.
Yeah, but that's not the one I was.
Okay.
I mean, go ahead with it. Let's go with it.
Job 9, chapter 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Who is the wicked?
Our oppressor is the wicked.
Exactly. Our oppressor is the wicked. Why is he the wicked? Who runs the earth?
Harvey Weinstein.
Exactly. That's our oppressor.
What's it called? Bill, what the mic?
Bill O'Reilly.
No, the
Bill who?
the
Microsoft. Bill.
the one that owned
Clinton.
Microsoft. Yeah, Bill Clinton. Bill Gates.
Right.
Yeah, Bill Gates.
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. Right. All the Bills.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
How about that?
Good night.
You know? That's our oppressor. That's who runs the earth. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Read.
He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
Who is the faces of the judges? He covered the faces of the judges. Who are the judges?
The prophets.
The prophets. He covers the faces. How did he cover the faces? What did he do?
Well, he says the false doctrine of the prophets.
And what does he do? He covers the faces. He puts it in our mind. See, look, just like he said, right? We are people of vision, right? We visualize a lot. When it comes to us, the things that we see are the things that we go after, right? He painted all of those faces white. He painted the Moses white. He made Moses white. He made Christ white.
Caesar Borgia.
He made God. He made God white. He made the angels white. Not only did he make the angels white, but he made them into babies and pampers. You understand what I'm saying? A cherubim.
They made God into homosexuals, pointing at
Right.
little naked baby.
And put Christ in a Roman toga, huh?
A Roman toga. Good night.
A Roman toga. Think about it. If Christ was soft and as faggish looking as he looked on those pictures, why would the Romans want to kill a faggot?
So like they just took something off the air that made Jesus into a full out homosexual.
Sexual, right. I seen a commercial for that. I said I ain't even want to see that crap. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, think about what they doing, right? They throwing homosexuality on everything. This is just a part of their culture. This is why the Most High tells us to come out from among them.
Right.
This is part of their culture. And because we are amongst them, doesn't mean we have to be of them. But that's where we destroy that, because we are among them. We are into their customs and their culture. We celebrate that Christmas, that Thanksgiving, that Easter, that Valentine's Day, all that bull crap that's coming up. And then you got Martin Luther King birthday that they about to celebrate coming up.
Good night.
Listen, check this out. Anytime a white man celebrates a black man, you got to be leery of that black man. You understand what I'm saying? Anytime they make a holiday to a black man, you got to be leery of that black man.
Good night. And that's super heavy what you're talking about. And it's for you, Eric and Trevor. Out Salisbury, they got Frederick Douglass.
Oh yeah, Frederick Douglass.
He's from out there. You know, Frederick Douglass.
When his daddy was,
Right.
that was a white man then. The seed of your father. Let's go to that. Give me numbers. Who was that? You are the seed of your father. What's that? Number 17 and 2. Numbers. Chapter 17, verse 2.
Number 17.
You got it?
Okay. Numbers chapter 17, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, and take of every one of them a rod according to the house of their father.
It says, take of every one of them a rod according to the house of their father. Read.
Of all their princes, according to the house of their fathers, 12 rods.
According to the house of their fathers, 12 rods. So basically what you do is you put your father's name, begot who. You understand? And the lineage goes by the father.
Right. Now,
Go ahead, finish that off.
write thou every man's name upon this rod.
And that rod had your lineage on it. And the lineage goes by the father.
Right.
The father holds what?
The lineage.
But the father holds the seed.
The seed. Right.
The seed is of the father.
Right.
So that's and even in science, the science tells you that the father determines the sex of a child.
Right.
So the father determines the seed.
Right.
The woman just carries the seed.
Right.
That the father gives her.
Right.
You understand? Now we don't take away from the importance of the mother. Basically, it's like a baker, right? The baker does all of the work, puts the dough together, mixes the yeast, the eggs, or whatever he does. You understand what I'm saying? He puts all of that stuff together, right? He puts all of that stuff together, and then he puts it in the oven.
What's the famous word?
What happens to it when he puts it in the oven? It browns, right? It takes on, think about this though, right? When you put the bread in the oven, it takes on characteristics of the oven because it becomes brown. But still, what is it? It's a product of the baker. Because without the baker, the oven has nothing. But don't take away from the oven.
No, right.
Because without the oven, the bread doesn't get cooked. So think about it. The lineage goes by the father, but without the mother, the children don't grow.
Right.
but nonetheless, the lineage goes by the father. The woman is what? Basically an incubator.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
To help that child grow.
But what's the famous saying about a woman, since we're talking about stoves?
You're going to have to hit me with that.
What they say, you got, damn. It's something about you got something in the oven or something.
Bread in the oven, a loaf of bread in the oven.
Something like that. You know, when a woman pregnant, be like,
They said she got a what's the name in the oven?
in the oven, right? Yeah.
But basically,
That's what it.
Right?
That's where it came from.
Right.
And that's heavy how you saying it though.
Right. But like I said, that bread is the product of the baker.
Right.
But without that oven, that baker's product doesn't get done.
Right.
So we can't take away from the importance of the woman. You understand what I'm saying? The woman is very important. Without the woman, there is no nation.
You can't cook without the oven.
Can't cook without the oven.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But we also got to recognize where that lineage comes from. Lineage goes by the father,
Right.
not the mother. But without the mother, there is no lineage.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So they both go hand in hand.
Right.
You feel me?
Eric said you got to cook. You got to cook.
You gotta cook.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah, you gotta cook.
You got to cook it. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? But like I said, without the ingredients, it ain't no cooking.
It ain't no cooking, right?
So they both go hand in hand, and this is the reason why God made man and woman. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You make man and woman, but you still gotta recognize right here. Most High tells you that you are the seed of your father. Your lineage runs through your father. Don't ever take away from the importance of that woman. That woman is vital, but we also got to recognize where the seed, where your lineage runs through. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Eric, you a wild boy.
There we go.
He said you got to cook that bun.
You got to cook that bun. Hey, and check this out. With that,
Right.
We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out on Street, Harlem, New York, and I'm about to turn this over to Priest Officer Natazal. Take your time, son.
We are the Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're here to be saluted only. They're here to show themselves for the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular brother, in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister each other. After the 6 month period, a brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, 8 through 10, which means 10th in Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'ashra, 10% of any penny increase you give to the Lord, the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy events, we got the Purim coming up, and we also got the Passover, 51, the big 51.
General behind me going
General Hyman is coming back to Baltimore, and in these next 2 weeks, check your schools for further details for counseling and furthermore. Reminding the Akim and Akwathium to Check social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on forth for Isupk events and material. If a brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher.
Men of Israel, Almighty Shabbat, Almighty Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barak Duh,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahimatah, class dismissed.